Hey, I'm MellyS The Story Collector, and this is the Courage 1000 Project, the show where we share personal stories of inner courage from all around the world to inspire you to find your own. In today's episode, we're talking with a very good friend of mine, Sharon Wood. She's sharing with us a very personal story about her relationship with alcoholism and the steps it took for her to become sober. She's sharing this story in the hope to inspire you to take massive steps to improve your life, no matter how impossible they may feel at that time. Now, Sharon is the founder and director of Goddess, a very unique entity focused on changing perceptions and attitudes towards a topic that's not very openly discussed, a woman's monthly cycle. Now, Goddess was established in 2015 and is now the platform through which Sharon can consolidate not only her own professional corporate journey, but her passion to educate and empower others. Today, Sharon's innovative Goddess model and philosophy is the key to unlocking the secrets of the female body, whilst at the same time helping others to discover just how amazing they are. And now let's discover just how amazing Sharon is in this interview. The first question I always ask is, why do you want to share this particular story with everyone?
Right. I suppose I want to share this particular story because it's not your traditional story. It's not you track it. Often, people go along, they hit a crossroad where something really massive happens, and they hit bottom, and therefore then they go on this journey of getting out of it. And I suppose I wanted to share that wasn't the case for me. And I think it's important that people understand that you actually, like, I hit rock bottom, but then kept going. And then there just became a time where I just went at enough. And I think I wanted to share it because I want people to understand that at any time of their life, they can make that pivotal change. They can make that change in their life. And you don't have to, have a Oprah aha moment to do it. It can be just a moment of, I've had enough. And that was what happened for me. I'd had enough.
It's really a story of having that courage to change your life by your own choice.
Absolutely. Because as I said, Mel, I'd had issues with alcohol since I was 15. So, I started drinking as a 15-year-old when I was playing hockey in my local. I grew up in a regional town, and I was playing hockey in the first division. So I was playing with all adult women, and there was a lot of alcohol around me. My dad was an alcoholic, and there was a lot of, drinking was the culture. And so I started drinking pretty heavily at the age of 15. And
that's so
I've had really early. Like, I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and I'd have a heart attack if she was drinking the level that I was drinking, and so, and I was really, I was really impacted by that. And so, it was one of those things that I just, I've now, and I've had some spectacular falls over the way, like some, honestly, some really, where you'd think that you'd go, that's enough. And there's been times where I've tried, and I've done AA, and I did counselling, but nothing really worked for me. And it was just this moment where I just literally had, that's enough. I've got to stop. And it's about the fact that I just really, really needed to make that change for myself.
So it was a personal epiphany then that this is it. This is the time to change.
Yeah, I think for me it was a moment of life had been tracking on okay. There wasn't any dramas. Life was going okay. I had a pretty good job. I was doing my own business. I was I've got a healthy, beautiful family. I'm in a loving relationship. If you looked on the outside, my life was pretty cool, and yet I had this real dissatisfaction with life, and the truth was that I was just drinking all the time. I was drinking myself out of things, and then stress, life, things got too much, and my husband sent me on a retreat, and I thought, oh, finally, he's sending me to Gwingana, finally. Anyway, I opened the package and it wasn't. It was this Find Your Fire retreat with Kurik Ashley. And I don't know if you know much about Kurik, but he's a massively intense man, and the workshop's really about transformation. And oh my gosh, Mel, I was cursing my husband. I was thinking, how could you do this to me? I am exhausted and you're sending me to this intense workshop. But the workshops are now with his wife, who does a lot of meditation and mindfulness as well. So there's this real mix of yin and yang of this intense workshop and then this beautiful nurturing mindfulness stuff. It's an amazing retreat. And it was then I just sort of stopped. I just stopped and said at the end of that, wow, I've just got to give up drinking. I really recognized I had to do it. So I just went on the process and said, that's it. How am I going to do this? And I've stopped. Yeah.
How long have you been sober for now?
So literally 1 year. So it's 1 year tomorrow.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thank you. And it's been an amazing journey in itself. Of moments of how to do it, and I've been able to tap into different life experiences and different things along the way. So as I mentioned, I've been to AA, and AA is an amazing group. It's an amazing group of people in there. But for me, I couldn't commit to the time, to be honest. I know that sounds like an excuse, but to get the best out of those meetings, you should really try and go regularly. Yeah. And I just didn't have the regular, time commitment that I could give. And so that fell down for me. And then I did counselling, and that fell down for me. I would go to a couple of sessions, stop doing that. So, so that would sort of not work for me. And but I really wanted to give up drinking this time, and I knew that I had to do it on my own. I just knew that I had to tap into myself. So I actually used my charting. So what my charting that I do for women's cycles, I actually used it, and I would chart when I'm feeling cravings and how I was feeling, and then I would chart, days that I would really have low days and cranky days, and then over the months I started to see when I was craving more and when I was feeling, and what was triggering me, and I was able to really work through it. It was really quite amazing. I never thought I would be using a tool that I use for my menstrual cycle to give up alcohol, but it really worked. And then I used to use alternatives. So, everyone says to me, oh, have a drink of mineral water and put, limes and things with it. Honestly, if another person told me that, I was going to punch them in the face, because I was just like, I'm so sick of hearing that. You don't think I know, to try lemons in mineral water. No. I don't want lemons in mineral water. I want alcohol,
Yeah.
So, I sourced different alternatives, but then literally after about 6 months, I found that I didn't even need that. Like, a good cup of tea was all I needed. So it was an amazing process, and what I discovered along the way was incredible. You get the usual comments about, oh, you look better, so your skin's brighter, your hair's better, you naturally lose a few kilos. Like, I remember my trainer that I used to train with, she used to say to me, Sharon, you're drinking a sponge cake a day in calories.
Whoa.
So yes, so I was drinking a sponge cake a day, and she used to say, you're never going to lose weight when you're drinking a sponge cake a day of alcohol, So everyone sort of commented. So I expected those changes and looked forward to them, but I expected them. But the changes I got that I didn't expect were things around anxiety levels. I didn't realize I was such an anxious person, but my anxiety levels were through the roof. And honestly, my anxiety levels are so low now. I don't get anxious. I don't get a lot of stress. I can really deal with life so much better
now.
Yeah, and I never realised that was an impact that alcohol has and had on me. So yeah, it was really amazing.
And I think that's common for a lot of people. We start drinking, and I find especially during the motherhood phase, because it is so stressful, we have that drink at the end of the day just to calm down, and then that drink becomes a bottle. And that bottle, the effect of it lasts us until the next bottle.
Yeah.
And then we're doing it over and over again, not realizing that we're sinking deeper and deeper into this hole.
No.
And then it's not until you get out of it that you can look back and go, wow, I was deep.
Wow. Yeah. and that group of women is the highest rate of alcoholics apparently at the moment. So, and I'm not surprised, where many of us are, doing our own business, working, running around with children, trying to keep everyone happy, having some sort of sex life in there somewhere. Like it's and we're juggling everything. And of course, alcohol is easy. We can drink it while we're doing the other three things that we've got to do.
Yeah.
And it just became, for me, it was that easy, Mel.
Yeah.
But for me, what started to happen was it snuck up to a point of I was drinking way more than the average bear, but what some of the big flags for me were around my hiding and manipulation of it. So I was starting to do the tricks. I'd open a bottle and have a couple drinks before my husband got home, and then I'd put that bottle in the back fridge and pull out a new bottle.
Yeah.
And have a glass of it. So when my husband walked in, he only thought I had a glass, but I'd actually was on my third.
Yeah.
So I was starting to lie and sneak, and
so you had a sense of shame around it at that stage.
Absolutely, because I knew what I was doing was wrong. I knew what I was doing was that I'd be judged because it was not, it wasn't good. And because I'd struggled with alcohol and confessed that to many of my friends and he on many of occasions, it felt worse, owning up to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, well, why don't you just stop? And, I didn't want to. I really enjoyed my Pinot, So there was a lot of shame around that, but that was some of the really big things for me when I recognised, the sneaking that I was doing. Yeah.
Yeah. So on this journey, where do you feel courage presented itself the most?
Oh, courage is it's all the way through, isn't it? Like, it's the courage to face it in the first place. It's the courage to own up, and it's the courage to recognise that you need some help, that you need to stop, because that's some of the hardest thing to do. It's actually really easy to continue. It's the courage to stop. So probably that. Then the courage to be honest with other people. Even at a dinner, like at a party last week, we went to a friend's 50th, and we were talking about me not drinking, and a lot of them said, oh, you're coming up to a year, are you going to have a drink again? And I said, no, I won't drink again. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, I can't. Some people in this world can be casual drinkers, social drinkers. I can't. I am an alcoholic. And if I drink again, I know that I'll be drinking again. So so having the courage to say that in a group, amongst a group of people, like that was a big thing for me. But I found myself really needing to say it. I felt like I needed to, because then people then know when they see me, I'm not drinking anymore. Yeah. Yeah.
It takes so much courage to stand up and say, no, I am going against what all of you are doing because this is my truth.
Yeah. And it's hard, Mel, because I'd also love to. You know, I loved drinking. You know, I enjoyed that beautiful glass of wine. I loved the social side of it and chatting. And some of that has sacrificed. Some of my friendships have been not let go, but we're less because I don't see them as much because we used to catch up a lot around drinking. I still love them dearly, and we, you know, but there is a difference in our friendship now because I'm not drinking.
Yeah.
So there is sacrifice, and that's not, you know, that's not fun. And yeah, and I miss drinking because, as I mentioned, you know, fizzy water and lemon juice just doesn't cut it some days. But that's okay. You know, you've got to have the courage, as you put it, to say, well, what do you want in life? You know, what are you willing to forego to have more, you know, and for me, alcohol is what I'm willing to forego. Yeah.
And I love that you followed the cycle that I discovered through the project as well, and that it starts with courage. And then you come to self-awareness, which is what you did through your charting. You found that self-awareness. And then love. You loved yourself enough to say, I see what's happening. I choose not to do this anymore. And
absolutely.
Back to courage again, because now you got to live that truth.
You're just giving me goosebumps because it's true. It's and that's exactly it. So, and you do have these moments of wavering because courage is it's an uncomfortable place to sit sometimes.
Yes.
You know, and so, you know, and sometimes you just don't want to sit in that uncomfortable space.
Yeah.
But having the courage to really live by what you say, it's liberating. Yeah.
I like it. So for you, what does courage mean after this whole journey? What does courage mean for you? It's a big question, I know.
It is, Mel, and it's only 10:30 in the morning. So I think for me, courage for me, it really is standing in your own space and doing what's really right for you, and for your family or for whatever, you know, whatever, but for you. And courage is making a decision that you know will be the right thing to do and sticking with it. And that goes for, you know, for me, it's not just my alcohol, it's in other aspects of my life as well that I choose. But I think it is about really standing with integrity, that and being really honest with yourself, having the courage to do that.
I like it. So what's next for you then?
Well, my sobriety has, you know, it gives you hours back in your life, you know, so I'm still working really hard in my business. So I'm releasing I'm about to release another book. I'm about to do a companion journal with my original book. So there'll be 2 books in the next 6 months. I have a really strong focus on my family. I love my family, and my children are at that age of 15 and 13. So I've only got that many years of teenagers. So I'm trying to enjoy them. And it's interesting in sobriety, it's easier because, you know, they're busy and you can run around and you're not resentful that you're missing out on that drink and all this sort of stuff. So I'm enjoying that sort of stuff, and I'm really enjoying what I do every day. I literally, a lady said to me yesterday, a meditation coach that I have, and she said to me, you know, I'm busy, but I'm doing what I love. And I thought, that's exactly right. I'm massively busy, but I'm doing everything that I love. So it's great.
Do you feel you are destined to make an impact in this world, but are struggling to find the courage to share your story? Jump over to mellys.com.au for free training, presentations and videos, or or simply stay tuned for the next episode of the Courage 1000 project.